Okay, guys, let's take a look at some additional adding polynomial problems. And you'll notice at the top, I've done the same kind of steps I've done with the others. I have said that when you add polynomials, you have to make columns in standard form of all the kind of variables that you have. Then you take whatever you have and sort them into the columns. And then you're going to total each column to find the final answer. Now, I did leave this piece up here that says, remember, if you end up with a positive number, then you put a plus between numbers. If you end up with a negative number, put a minus. So let's take a look at a couple problems here so you can get the hang of it again. If I take a look at this problem right here, I'm going to look at the variables, and if I look at the variables, the highest exponent I see is right here, this g to the fourth. So if I'm looking at that, if g to the fourth is the highest exponent, I'm going to make columns. So I start with g to the fourth, and I'm going to keep working my way down till I get to 1g, and then I'm going to put the number column on the end. Now, when you're doing these, I would go ahead and make all the columns because honestly, at this point, you might not realize you need a column and then you're trying to, shove it in there and you don't have room. Better to have that room and not use it than to try to, finagle it in there later on. Okay, so now I'm going to take each one of these terms and I'm going to sort it in the column that it belongs in. So 2 goes in the number column. Negative 5g squared is going to go in the g squared column. Remember, if that minus is there, I'm going to bring that down. So make sure that if you see this here, that it actually comes down with the number. Okay, now if I go to the next one, that would be right here. So that's 8g to the fourth. Now, I'm going to go to the second column because it's kind of the second parenthesis. But if you have room in the first row still, you can do that. Okay, so then positive 3 is going to go here. And then I have negative 4g squared. That's going to go here. And now I can go ahead and total my stuff. So 8g to the fourth. Nothing in this next column at all, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Now I'm going to go here. So negative 5 plus negative 4 is negative 9g squared. Then if I total this column, 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. So if I wrote this, I'd probably take out the spaces in between and get this answer. Okay, but again, it's all about finding that highest exponent so you can make your columns correctly. Okay, so let's go over to this one right here. So on that one, if I look, highest exponent I see anywhere is this x squared. So I have x squared, x, and my number. So I've set up my standard form. Now I'm going to go through each of the terms and start to move it where it needs to go. Before I do that, though, I probably would add ones in those spots just so I don't forget to do it when I go to move them. So 3x squared plus 1x plus 5. That's everything from this first parenthesis. And now I'm going to go to this next one. So 2x squared plus 1x minus 5. So once I have all of this sorted, I can go ahead and make my plus sign and draw my line. So if I total this first one right here, I'm going to have 5x squared. In the middle column, 1x plus 1x is going to be 2x. And in this last column, negative 5 and positive 5 are going to cancel out, so it's going to be 0. So this is going to be my final answer. Okay, let's keep going. So if I take a look at my next one, if I'm looking at all of this, first of all, I might go ahead and add ones in here just to make that easier for me to see. And then if I'm going and looking now at this, my highest exponent I see is this x squared that happens twice. So x squared, x, and then my number. Okay, so now I'm going to take each of my terms and make sure they get sorted in the right columns. So negative 4x squared plus 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to move to the second parenthesis and start to sort. So 1x squared minus 1x plus 9. Now, once I have all of this stuff sorted down here, I can go ahead and make my plus sign and draw my line. And then I can start to total my columns. So in this first column, negative 5 plus 1, it's going to be positive 3, so positive 3x. Now if I go here, positive 2 plus negative 1 is positive 1. And then if I go, then if I go here, I have negative 1 plus 9, which would be positive 8. Now, honestly, the only thing you'd probably see them do is you're probably going to see the answer written like this. So basically what they've done is taken this 1 and dropped it because I assume that 1 is there whether I write it or not. So that's kind of how it works. Okay? Okay, on this next one, if I go through and start looking at all of these, the highest exponent I see anywhere is this x to the third. So, or excuse me, y to the third. So that helps me get my columns set up. All my standard form. And now I'm going to take each one of these terms and make sure that they go in the right spot. So 8y plus 4y squared minus 12. So I've taken everything from this first parenthesis and I've gotten it sorted in this first row. Now I'm going to take this one and sort it into the second row. So I have 5, I have 3y to the third minus 13y. So once you have all of this sorted down here, I can go ahead and make my plus sign and draw my line. So I'm going to have 3y to the third and 4y squared. Those are easy to do because they're actually the only thing that's in there. Okay, in these actual columns right here. Now, if I go to this column, I have positive 8y and negative 13y, which is going to be negative 5y. And negative 12 plus 5 is going to be negative 7. Okay, guys, go over these again if you need to, and then go ahead and go to the assignment.